What's up, class? Evans here. Now that we got all our dimensions and notes about what your bolt needs to be, you've got it all here. We're going to put it on Onshape. Step one, of course, is to click Create, create a new document, and we'll call it something easy like bolt with your class period and initials. All right, so step one, you're going to want to make that hexagon head. So we'll create a sketch on the front view, and we need to find the tool that has hexagons in it. Here we go. This looks like it. We want to go with we'll go with an inscribed. I don't know the difference yet, if you're wondering. Let me look at this from my front view here. Now it lets you turn it any directions. I want to keep it as straight as possible. Okay, and we want that to be 6, obviously. And I would suggest the next step is to make sure that these are horizontal. It makes it easier if it's horizontal. Now, the only dimension that you need for your part is the distance from here to here. Now, whatever that number is, type whatever you get. I'm just going to type in 10. But it's clearly not 10. Because I'm not going to show you exactly the way to make yours with the numbers that we collected, but rather how to do these things. So we want to extrude that, and let you do that. Good job, that was easy to do. Now we want to extrude a circle out of the back. Awesome, great, that looks awesome. Let's keep moving. So the next thing that we're going to want on this is some threads. So you should find that up here. Oh, there it is. So we're going to use the tool helix. Helix is kind of like the DNA strand, a helix, and threads, the little spiral that keeps going up. So you're just going to click on the edge here. Now, we want to figure out how many revolutions it goes through to get to the end. So remember, we made a thread count. You want to take that thread count and multiply it by the length of the bolt, not the bolt including the head, but the length of the back part. So you have to subtract the head from the screw part. Take that, multiply it by your thread count, and round it to something that makes sense. I'm just going to put in 20 for now, and we're going to see what it looks like. I haven't really used this before, so we're exploring. I'm just going to put 20. Your number may be closer or further away from that. The next thing I want to do is I want to take, since I put it on the front view, I want to take the top view and put a sketch there. So let me look at the top view. I want to zoom in down here, and we're going to, let's see, I want to try to get an estimated length about there. I'm just kind of estimating it. So it's not too important where that sits, but I'm going to make a triangle here. And the size is not important just yet. What is important, from what I've understood, is to make it a equilateral triangle. So if you come up here, we're looking for the equal button here. So, whoops. So let me click on the equal button, and I want this to be equal to that, and this to be equal to that. And that's what we have. And let me hit escape, and then I want to change this to, I'm not sure yet, maybe 1.2. I don't know. No, that seems too small. Maybe 1.5. See how that looks. And I want that distance out there to try and put it at the first helix, if I can. I don't want it to, the threads to start back here. Usually the bolt has a little bit of length away from the end. So think that was close to 2, right? Again, your numbers are going to be different because I'm making mine a really large bolt compared to yours. Hit the check mark. Now I'm going to use the sweep tool. And I want to get that face is, of course, our triangle. I think it doesn't like that line I put there, so let me delete that line. I think it's messing with it. See if that fixes our problem. There we go. That might have been the problem. So we wanted to, that face and the sweep path is this helix. And we want it to be a remove. And that should be it. So there's our threads. Now, if we look at it and think like, that doesn't look very good, we can go back and change things. Looks like it still went back to there anyways. So I can go back and change the sketch and maybe dial down that size. Maybe it's too deep. We're exploring, so I don't think I hit save, did I? We could also work with the number. I think the depth for that looks pretty good. Maybe I was off on my number here, so I was kind of thinking somewhere between 20 and 24. So let me do the higher number, see how that ends up looking. Well, that's interesting that it stopped like that at the end. I'm not sure if that's what we want. Okay, so we'll leave it like that. I think we've got it. I hope we got it. Now there's a lot of other things that you can add to this in order to make it look better. And I would suggest you play around with the chamfer and round tools. But before you do that, we need to put our 48 on the front, 4.8. So I would say step 1 is to create a sketch and put a little dent in the front. Great, good job. You know, we have those dimensions from before, so that's good. So now let's put the 4.8 on there. So I'm going to click on that new lower surface. And I'm going to click on this text button here and type 4.8. Now you should be able to kind of explore around with different text styles and find which one you think looks the best. You can see it right here. So if you look at the picture of the bolt and you figure out whichever one you want, I think you have to highlight it. If you don't highlight it, well, maybe it still works, yeah. And play around with how you think it could look. And then hit the check mark, puts it there for you. You should be able to control the size a little bit. Let me see if I can do that. Oh, maybe it just controls by the size that you put from the beginning. So I guess you control the text size from the beginning. That's interesting. Well, anyways, choose whichever one you think looks best. Let me not spend too much time on that. And you can move it to however you want it and hit the check mark, and then you can actually extrude it. There we go. Now you choose how far it should come out. So you might want to do like what I did there and kind of slightly turn it and take a look that it's not coming out like too far. Again, remember, you're not looking at my numbers because you have your own numbers down. So make an estimation on how it should look. And then come back and use the round tool and the chamfer tool to try and make it look a little bit more realistic to how a bolt looks. Most things don't have flat edges. They're often rounded or chamfered or something like that. So you can kind of play around with these tools here and learn them better and see what you can figure out. So play around with the tools. I'm just putting in random things just so that you can kind of see. Hopefully we can do a rounded edge here. It might not work with us because of the way the helix works. So we might have to play around with that to get that to work. But we should be able to round that edge. So we'll play around with that later if we figure out how to make this helix work for us a little better. But round off your bolt and use the chamfer, get it looking nice, and you're going to share it with me. So make sure that you put my email here. Not that one, of course, but the correct one, and then do the link sharing. You got to click share here once you send the email, and then link sharing, turn on link sharing, and get the copied piece to send to me. All right, so I figured out how to make this look a little bit better. I came in and I added a sketch just a little bit bigger in diameter than what I originally put. So I think I had originally put a diameter of 6, so then I put 6.1, and then I extruded it out a little bit, and then I added a fillet. And it seems to make it look a little bit more realistic to the end of a bolt. So that might help make it look better. The only other way that I think that might look better is if we did the threads first and then came in and extruded a little bit more and then added the head to it. I suppose you could do the same thing with the cutoff end here. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in Zoom. And please do ask for help if you're stuck on something. That's what I'm here for, to help you learn this stuff.